I got dope and the to-go bag. I just be fucking on your hoe to make your bros mad. I got dro and the to-go bag. I just... What's happening? Thank y'all for sliding. My name's Amaurie Johnson, aka LemThurdy, and this is the 30 for 30 podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's just something light real quick for our first little episode. The scenery, you know what I'm saying? The backdrop gonna change. We're not gonna go anywhere but up. But right now, I just want to give y'all, you feel me, honest thoughts from my natural habitat, you know what I'm saying? But first things first, I know a lot of y'all want updates from the La Mesa trial. As you may already have known if you saw it in the news or whatever, Dages wasn't charged with any of his crimes. He was, acquitted by the jury. And my thoughts on that, because I've been asked a lot, but I haven't made any official statements, is, I don't agree at all, obviously. All the evidence points towards him being charged with everything that he was charged with, but for some reason he was acquitted. I do want to thank the DA for, even attempting to charge the former officer in his crimes. Just in this case, the justice system didn't necessarily work at all. All the charges that he was charged with, once again, we proved that he was guilty of those crimes. Yet and still, he just wasn't charged with those crimes. So can't cry over spilled milk. I can just control what I can control. So I'm gonna move forward amicably and, make my next move. I do got a lot of stuff up my sleeve. So y'all just stay in tune for that, because there are going to be other repercussions and actions taken in regards to my situation on May 27th of 2020. I didn't flee from the police. I didn't assault a police officer. So that's that. And once again, if the city of La Mesa is okay with having officers that act like that, then, that's their right. And that's it, I can't argue with the jury's decision, even though I don't agree with it at all. I also want to talk about my Saints, because they recently got knocked out the playoffs. We had a decent season. Didn't really have the quarterback play that I would have liked. Jameis played really well, but Taysom played trash. Trevor Siemian played trash, and Ian Book isn't even worth mentioning. Shout out to Ian Book though, and Oak Ridge High School. Fuck y'all. But our receiving core didn't really do much either to help out our quarterbacks. But we were missing Michael Thomas all year. We have a non-existent tight end core. And, we have inconsistent receivers, that being Marquez Callaway, and Traquan Smith. And we have another receiver, but his name's blank in my mind. We also got Kenny Stills back, and he did nothing all year, which is a disappointment. But shout out to Kenny Stills from La Costa Canyon. And you see it right here. If you know, you know. You feel me? 2012. Let me get it on there. 2012. What is that on the back? You see it. So yeah, Saints barely missed the playoffs, even though we won our last game, which was a bummer. But it is what it is. The team that knocked us out of the playoffs by winning their game was the 49ers, which I'm looking forward to seeing that 49ers versus Cowboys game in the playoffs. So it should be very interesting. They have a very potent offense, a lot of different ways they can attack you, and they use misdirection. So, it's very fun to watch. Kyle Shanahan's been in his bag this year calling the plays, in my opinion. Deebo Samuel's playing out of his mind, and my guy Brandon Ayuk playing out of his mind. Elijah Mitchell playing out of his mind. George Kittle playing, the way George Kittle plays. One quick side note before I stop talking about the 49ers. I would love to see Jimmy Garoppolo on the Saints next year, if that's an option, because obviously we're not going to run it with Taysom Hill. And if we have Jameis Winston, I would like some insurance. We're going to need a better backup just in case Jameis does get hurt. I wouldn't be mad if Jameis came back. I wouldn't be mad if we got a whole new quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But Taysom Hill's for sure not a quarterback, and that's a fact. I like him as a slash guy, but him as a 16, 17 game starter is not happening in the NFL season. Not happening with no success, at least. Our defense played phenomenal though. Saints defense balled out all year. I'm a Lakers fan as well, as you may know or may not know. But I haven't been watching too many Lakers games because uh the season doesn't really start for me until after the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, and then you feel me, the season really starts. But LeBron James been playing out of his mind. You feel me? AD's pussy hurts, which is whatever. He's always hurt, so I'm pretty much used to it at this point. But I wish he would actually stay healthy for a good amount of time so we can get this record, you feel me, looking good, so we can get a higher seed. But whatever, we'll see what happens when playoff time comes. Hopefully, they're balling. LeBron James playing good either way. Malik Monk too. Give a shout out to Malik Monk. He been balling out. Hopefully, you feel me, he keeps doing this thing. They put him in that starting shooting guard or some shit, because we need somebody else who can score on a consistent basis. Because for me, fucking Westbrook is way too inconsistent. But yeah, that's the Lakers. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because if they turn it up later on in the regular season, we can get a better seed. But who knows? Because with the old team like that, they usually only get worse throughout the season. But with the UFC, Chikadaze, Giga, you know what I'm saying? He fighting, who is that man fighting? And it's slipping my mind. Calvin Kattar, I believe. Calvin Kattar's very, boxing, orientated. He's a boxing first type guy, front foot forward type dude. Just got the shit beat out of him by Max Holloway. And Giga is a beast kickboxer, He has pretty much his own fucking move they call the Giga kick, where he kicks you in your fucking liver and that shit shut down. So obviously I'm probably gonna go with Giga, but Calvin's a demon, so we'll see what happens. There's some other good fights on that card as well. And then Ciryl Gane is fighting Francis Ngannou, you feel me, the week after that, which will be really lit, because of Francis trying to fight for his, his financial freedom right now, which, shout out to him, because you feel me, that's a big fight in the UFC to get that wage taken up to the next level, and he's gonna take that fight on by himself, it seems like, because ain't nobody really bagging him like that, and nobody really acknowledging the fact that the deck is stacked against him. You know what I'm saying? He's going into his title fight on his last fight of his contract. He's kind of fucked up because he actually can't leave the UFC if he wins his fight, because they have a thing where champions get like extended a couple fights or a couple years or days, months, whatever, after they win, for like negotiating purposes. But if Francis does win with the things that he's arguing for, he'll be able to, recoup a lot of money, make a lot of money, hopefully. But people aren't talking about this because he could get fucked over if it goes to decision. UFC does not want this man to leave the promotion as champion. There's been other fighters who have left the promotion as champion. I believe Randy Couture, BJ Penn, George St. Pierre, Henry Cejudo. UFC does not forgive you for leaving the UFC with the belt. They want to keep their champions. It doesn't make them look good at all. So that'll be a big fight as well for fighters and for the UFC. And Joe Rogan experience, he's been talking about COVID and shit like that. I was watching some clip on the Borchina Depot, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, if you're an MMA fan, you know about the Borchina Depot. And he just, he posted a clip that kind of got people on Joe Rogan's back, and now doctors and shit are trying to, you feel me, get Joe Rogan Experience removed from Spotify, which I don't think is going to happen. And I also don't think that's fair for Joe Rogan, because he's just having these conversations with people. And contrary to what I see on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, I've actually seen some statements that from doctors that corroborate the statements that he was making on Joe Rogan Experience. Either way, we can't cancel somebody's opinion because we don't agree with them. I don't like a lot of these racists. I don't like a lot of these bigots. I don't like a lot of these people that, talk their talk on the internet. But you gotta let them talk, because, you feel me, those conversations need to be had. And if you're right, at the end of the day, you can disprove my wrong opinion. But that's just my opinion. I still feel as though freedom of speech is something that should be cherished and protected as well. And once again, I don't think Joe Rogan's podcast should get taken down because of some misinformation that you may think he's spreading. Alex Jones is a different story because he's kind of denying in my opinion, Alex Jones was a different story because he was denying that people even died or that it happened, and doxing people as well. People that had lost their children to a, you know what I'm saying, an active shooter at a school, which completely different situation from Joe Rogan, you know, having some statistical inaccuracies in his statements when he's talking to somebody on his podcast. I don't think he should be canceled for that. But that'll be a conversation for a different day. Thank you for your time. My name's Amaurie Johnson, aka LemThurdy. The revolution is not going to be televised, guys, so it's time to go get that truth and go seek that shit for yourself. But one thing's for sure, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. You can trust LemThurdy. I love y'all. Thank you for fucking with me, and y'all have a wonderful, blessed day.
And to go back, I just be fucking on your hoe to make your bros mad. I got dope. And to go back, yeah, I just be fucking on your hoe to make your bros mad. You know I got that dope. And these niggas want drama. These niggas all mad at me.